So welcome back. In today's video, we are going to look at annotations in Java. So what are annotations? So what if I have a class called A and a class called B, but this be extending attributes of A. So inside this class A, I'm having a function called a method called show. Show. This is a void. Yes. So I'm having this method called show. So you can say system.out. Uh, this this is in A show. I can have the same method here. So what I want to achieve is I want to achieve method overriding. So this is in, now this has to change to B. So in this case, I can create now a new instance of class B. So what I'm achieving is that I want this method to override the parent method. So I will say B is equal to object is a new instance of B. So now let me access the show. So I'll say object dot show in this case. So when I compile this Java to compile, now you see that this is in B show is the one that has to appear here in our terminal. Yes, you can see that this is in B show is the one appearing. So what if I change something small? So instead of using the show, I'll say this. I'll use another name. So I'll say this method is responsible res, responsible for displaying 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 the output in in A, or the output the out the output of the class the class. So what if I have this long method? uh, because why am I using this long method? No, in actual sense we can't use this, but your methods have to be they have to describe the behavior or what are they trying to achieve. So I'll use this same thing here down instead of using this. So I'll say this is uh, this method is responsible for displaying the output of the class, something like this. So here in this case, I'll try to access that method itself. So I'll say I'll access this method. So let me try to compile again and we see what we are achieving. Compile and run. And you can see that in this case we are getting this is in a show. Yet we have just changed the names and they are the same, meaning there is an issue. So in programming, we have what we call compile errors and runtime errors. So compile errors are the errors that after compiling, you'll be able to access or you'll be able to see them. And we have what we call the runtime errors. These occur when the app is running. So we have the third one called logical errors. These errors occur when everything is okay, but your logic is not is not okay. So in this case, we're having the same thing. I'm trying to achieve method overriding, sorry, but I'm getting in a show, yet I'm using an instance for B and I'm trying to access the B method. So I introduced something interesting called annotations. So in Java, annotations are simply special metadata. They simply add extra information to your code. Simply, annotations help in like telling your compiler or telling your your. So there I will introduce something interesting called annotations. So annotations will help us in the logical errors, to handle logical errors. Like in this case, we are having the two methods and we are expecting one to override the other, but we are getting a different output. So annotations are simply special metadata. They add extra information to your compile environment or to your runtime environment. So annotations simply, they don't change the logic, or they don't change anything in your code, but they give more detailed information to your compiled environment. So in this case, this is what I'm meaning. If I'm trying to achieve what we call method overriding, I'll tell my I'll tell my compile environment and runtime environment that what I'm doing here is called method overriding. So automatically after putting method overriding, Java or the compile environment would suggest me that you are trying to achieve method overriding, but this method does not resemble the one that you're trying to override. So what I did is previously I just ignored the s here. I can put this. When you see this method, it's not the same as this one. I just did this intentionally by removing the s. So when you add the s, you see that everything is okay. But when you remove it with this annotation, the override, it will tell you that this method does not resemble this one. So this helps you in a way that if you're having a complex system, method annotations will help guide your compile environment or runtime environment by giving it extra information about what you are trying to achieve. So there are multiple annotations. What we have seen now is what we call the method override, but we have more. Mhm. Make this right. After making that right, and I try to compile again, you see that this is in Visual is the one appearing now. So we have multiple annotations that we can use. So we can see more. And we have what we call the duplicated. The duplicated simply tells your compile environment or your runtime environment that this class here will reach a time and it is out of date or no longer in use. So when you put the duplicate, you are telling your environment that this class will reach a time that it is not in use anymore. So we have multiple. We have what we call the you can see here if you put an hash, you see that they are bringing them. We have what we call the supported annotation types. Most of them we are going the functional interface. We are going to look at them. We are going to look at them when we start the interfaces. But right now, we have looked at only two. So you can also create one. Yeah, it is possible for you to create your own annotations that will describe what you are trying to do. So that's simply what annotations mean in Java. So they simply just they add extra information to your environments, the compile environments and the runtime environments. So that's it for today. Thank you.